Hey, I got three questions for you. How was your childhood? How were your caregivers? And how is your life right now? Hey, welcome to Connected Life. I'm Anthony, and today we're talking about how your childhood affects who you are and how you are right now as an adult. You might be 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 90 or 100 if you don't get it. And depending on how your childhood was, depending on how your parents were or your caregivers, and that includes grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, teachers, people in the church or organizations that your parents took you to, other family members, the way they treated you definitely affected the person that you are now, how you act and react, and how you behave in your adult life. And when we say adult life, I'm kind of thinking about, like I said, you could be 20 or you could be 80. And either way, if you haven't worked through that, if you don't understand that, if you don't realize that, that's probably the thing that's running your life that you don't realize. You may say, why don't I have this? Or why don't I think this way? Or why don't I feel that way? Or why am I not in this type of relationship? And it's all because you have programming from childhood that is affecting and driving how you are as an adult. In typical and attachment style, we talk about avoidant, we talk about anxious. So you may be thinking about some of that with regard to relationship, or maybe not. But it's also the same when it comes to other things in life, your health, the way you act with income, with jobs, with where you live, with who you interact with. That same programming is going to affect a lot of areas of your life, not just relationships. So, how was your childhood? How were your caregivers? And it's not always about if they were what we would consider bad or abusive or verbally abusive or physically abusive. It could be they just weren't available. They always worked. They always had something to do. They always had social events. Or if they were home, maybe they just didn't notice you. Maybe they didn't hear you. Maybe they didn't see you. Maybe they told you to go to your room. Maybe if you were loud, they sent you to your room. So what did you think? It's not good to be loud. Maybe they didn't communicate with you in a way that made you feel loved or feel seen or feel accepted. Maybe they criticized you. Maybe they judged you. So all of those things affected how you are now. So you have to ask yourself, how was my childhood? Was it loving? Did they give me everything I needed? Did I have food? Did I have clothing? Personally, for me, I had everything that I needed. I had plenty of food. Actually, I had too much food because I was tremendously overweight as a child. But that was my way of filling the void of what I didn't get from my parents. My parents never connected with me. It was like they were physically there, they were not emotionally or mentally there. So I used food to help me feel better. Food helped me feel nice and warm and cozy. And once you get addicted to that feeling of nice and warm and cozy, you start to eat more because you like the feeling. And the more you eat, the bigger you get. And I was not very active as a child. So, as a 270-pound eighth grader, I can tell you that if you're missing love and trust, and your parents or your caregivers aren't calm, if they're not honest, hey, we're going to go to this thing on the weekend. And the weekend comes and they change it or they don't mention it, or you ask about it and suddenly there's a different plan, or we don't have the money, or we don't have the time. You can't really trust caregivers that put you through those types of things, right? You think you're going to do something, you think you're going to get something, and they always change the story. You don't trust that person or that adult or that parent or that caregiver. So now, as an adult, do you trust yourself? Do you make decisions that you are confident with? Do you say, I'm going to do this on Saturday, and then when Saturday comes, do you do it? Or do you not do it? It all comes down to trust. So if you didn't have parents that you trusted, there's a very good chance that you don't trust yourself. So if you're doing activities and missing some things and procrastinating and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to call this person, I'm going to go out to dinner with this person, I'm going to finish that project in the attic, I'm going to do this thing in the basement, I'm going to plant those plants in the yard, and you constantly just say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. It's too cold out. Then how do you trust yourself? How do you build trust? How do you have faith and trust in yourself that you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do now that you are an adult, right? So there's a pattern there. If you don't have that trust built as a child, odds are you don't trust yourself as an adult. You procrastinate, you don't get things done, and that's where that all started. And of course, like everything else, there's ways to work through that. That's not in this video though, but it will be in the next video. Were they honest? Were they supportive? Did they support you in the things that you liked, the things that you loved, the things that made you happy, the things that made you excited? Music, arts, dancing, movies, playing outside. What did you like to do outside? Did you like to climb trees? Did you like to bake? Did you like playing with dolls? Did you like playing with footballs? And did they kind of judge you or shame you or shun you because you like the things that they didn't think that you should like? Well, you're a girl, you shouldn't like football. Well, you're a boy, you shouldn't play with dolls. You're a boy, you shouldn't cry. You're a girl, you should. You're a boy, you should. Did they support you in the things that you liked and loved? And if not, as an adult, do you support yourself in the things that you like and you love? Do you say, I like this play, I'm going to go see it. I don't care who's going or not going, I'm going because I want to do it. And then you go. You say, I'm going to start this poetry class, I'm going to ace it, and then I'm going to start writing poetry. Do you ever start the class? If you start the class, do you ever finish the class? If you start the class, finish the class, do you ever start writing poetry? Do you trust yourself? Do you have faith in yourself? Are you supportive of yourself and your ideas and your thoughts and the things that you want out of life? That's a pretty good question to ask yourself. But also, if you're not, a good way to look back is say, well, how was my childhood? How were my parents? How were my caregivers? How were my teachers? What kind of life did I have, and did people support me then? And maybe if not, that could be a reason why you're not supporting yourself now. Were they attentive? I mean, unless I was standing on my head and doing backwards flips, it was just pretty much like I was a body, they were a body. If I said something to them, they said something to me. Other than that, I didn't really get a lot out of them. My dad worked all the time from 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. My mom worked quite a bit, but I did a lot of things without my parents. I had other family members, I had aunts, I had uncles, I had cousins. So if you're sitting in front of your caregiver or your parent and they don't say anything to you, they don't say, how was school? Oh, it was good or it was bad. How was it good or bad? What did you do? What happened? How can I help you? How can I support you? How can we make this better? If you don't get any of that, then it's not really a connection, right? They're not attentive. They don't know what you want. They don't know what you need. They don't care. They don't ask. Or if you tell them, they kind of tell you to handle it. Oh, this person said this to me today at school. It hurt me. Well, say something back that's going to hurt them. In other words, handle it on your own. Not, okay, well, if you feel this way, what do you think will make you feel a different way? What can you say to that person? How can you be more vulnerable or more loving or more happy or more playful or more joyful even though this person is the way that they are, right? That's how we learn to grow into adults that live in the world that are happy and vulnerable and connect. It's from our parents or our caregivers. They connect with us, they're vulnerable with us, and then we learn how to connect with them and be vulnerable with them. If we don't get that from them, we're probably not going to have it. And then we're going to grow up as adults, we're going to go into relationships, and we're going to be lacking these types of emotions, these types of feelings, and these types of ways to support ourselves, connect with ourselves, be honest with ourselves, be loving and trusting with ourselves, and also calming. Were your parents calm? Did they know how to calm you down? Did they know how to calm themselves down? If something happened, did they jump up and scream and yell or curse? How did that help you? Now, as an adult, when things happen, are you calm? Or do you jump up and scream and go crazy and act like it's the end of the world? Could be because of how your childhood went. And it could be anybody, right? It could be your parents, it could be other caregivers. So don't only focus on parents, because a lot of people will say, well, my parents were great, they gave me everything. But did they really? Did they look you in the eye and connect with you and let you know that you were someone that was important to them? Or did they kind of just go about their lives and say, here's your food, here's your clothing, here's some money, here's some activities, and you were kind of just there? You know? You were there, they were there, but as far as, oh wow, this person, this adult, this big guy, this big lady helps me feel loved, helps me feel supportive, helps me feel like I belong here, helps me feel like they want me here. I don't think I ever felt like anybody wanted me anywhere. It was kind of like, yeah, you're here. Okay. You're a kid. We got to do certain things for you. We got to feed you. We got to clothe you. We'll buy you some toys to let your focus go on toys and play. But as far as like, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? What do you need? Can we do anything? Can I do anything? What can make your life better? What can make you happier? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to do? What do you see happening this summer? It was kind of like, I'm home. Oh, great. So think back. If you had that type of life as a child, that's definitely going to affect how you are as an adult. So, connected life. Connect with yourself. Sit in silence. Think about it. It doesn't have to be something that we consider bad, right? It's not that our parents or caregivers smacked us around or abused us or called us horrible names. It could simply be they were too busy to notice us. It could be they never really had time for us as individual little people. And if that's the case, that's going to affect how we are now as adults. What are your feelings, your wants, your needs, your goals, and your dreams? When you think about yourself and you connect with yourself, what are those things? And are you loving toward those things? Are you trusting that you can get them? Are you honest about what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to get it? Are you supporting yourself? Hey, I want to do this thing. Don't think, oh, that's stupid. Just say, oh, I want to do this thing. Here's why. And then try it. If you don't like it, move on to something else. Are you attentive? Are you attentive to your needs? Are you attentive to, I want to leave this job? Are you attentive to, this person makes me feel uncomfortable? Are you attentive to, the place that I'm living is not the best place for me and I think I need to move? Are you attentive to, when I drink this thing, I don't feel really good? Maybe I get angry. Maybe I get sad. Maybe I feel lonely. Are you attentive to, when I eat this thing, it doesn't make me feel good, or it makes me anxious, or it makes me feel really good? Greasy food, sugar. Sometimes I'll have a piece of cake and I'll think, this was really good. I'm going to have another little piece. 10 little pieces later, I feel like I've had a little too much. As a kid, I never thought about that because it was just like, oh, this makes me feel better. So if you're in that same situation as an adult, one basket of fries makes you feel really good. A half a cheesecake makes you feel really good. Then you have to ask yourself, why don't I feel good when I only have one piece or one slice or a small bag of chips or a little bit of peanuts or half a banana? You know what I'm saying. Why does 5 slices of pizza make you feel better than one slice? So connect with your body. Because with me, it felt good in the moment, but then after that, I always felt like, oh my God, I think my stomach's gonna burst. But as a kid, it just got into that pattern of up and down, up and down, up and down. Feel good, feel bad, get more food, fill up, feel good, feel bad, get more food. As an adult, I can look at that and I can feel that and I can say, oh, this is not the way I want to go. This is not the thing I want to do. This is not the way I want to live or the person I want to be. But why is it this way? And what can I do about it? And also, what's driving it? Was it my childhood? Was it my last relationship? Was it somebody that I was hanging out with in college? Was it my roommate? Did my roommate in college act a certain way and treat me a certain way? And now I'm in a pattern of that's how I treat myself, or that's how I expect other people to treat me. So there are a lot of questions that you can ask yourself to figure out why you are the way you are, who you are, why you are there, and where you want to go and how you're going to get there. It's all about understanding yourself, connecting yourself. A lot of that is meditation. Some of it's sitting in silence. For me, I go to the park, I walk around, I don't listen to anything. I just kind of walk and think. What do I want? How am I going to get it? How did I react last night at the Super Bowl party? Was it a good way to react to people? Was I loving? Was I caring? And if I wasn't, why not? Like, what's making me angry? What's making me sad? What's making me feel lonely? If I leave a party with 20 people and I get home and there's no one here but me, why do I suddenly feel lonely? Why did I feel lonely as a kid? I never got attention, so if I was in my room to go to sleep alone, I felt lonely. Like I just did a whole day of nothing. I got no connection. So now I'm alone in my bed. I'm still disconnected. That's sad, right? If you're 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, even 10 years old, and you're laying in bed alone, you haven't connected with anyone all day, and now you're like, okay, I gotta go to sleep. You feel uneasy. You feel disconnected. And if no one comes in and says, hey, how are you? How was your day? Are you ready for bed? Are you happy to go to sleep? Are you happy in your home, in your room? It's kind of like you're just kind of in there. You're left alone. It's like, oh, it's bedtime. Go to bed. Or it's bath time and then it's bedtime. There's no real connection. And if you don't understand what I mean by no real connection, comment below and let me know. I'll do a video on that. But connecting with someone is really seeing them, really feeling them, and understanding, like there's a feeling that they understand you, right? They see you, they hear you, you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like you're a part of a family. You feel like you're a part of this relationship. You're loved, you're wanted, you're not judged and shamed, right? So that's where connecting with yourself is. Do I feel this? And if I don't, how can I feel this? And why don't I feel this? So, if no to these, how are you in these areas now as an adult? If you are saying no to these as a child, how are you now as an adult? Odds are you're pretty much in the same predicament. Comment below and let me know. And if you need help, I will certainly help you. I've been dealing with this for years, so now that I'm out of it, I can help you get out of it. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next video.